Hey guys, it's Memorizer92. Today I'm gonna go over pattern guide for the first ever Legion raid that will come out in NA and EU pretty soon, the Valtan. This raid has two stages. In the first stage, you will fight against Valtan's subordinate, and in the second stage, you will eventually fight Valtan. In Legion Raid, the raid leader can use Sidereal skills if the Sidereal gauge fills up to max. The gauge naturally gets filled up time to time. In Valtan Raid, you can use Thyrane that deals huge damage by pressing Ctrl Z, Wei for huge stagger and decent damage by pressing Ctrl X, Balfour for party super armor and incoming damage reduction by pressing Ctrl C. Using which Sidereal on which situation should be used carefully since it takes long time to restore the Sidereal gauge. Before the beginning of the first stage, there are things to be prepared. For the battle items, every one of you will need Whirlwind Grenade because there's a gimmick that requires stagger, and also Sacred Charm and Panacea to remove the bleeding debuff that the boss do. You can use Time Stop Potion instead of Panacea if affordable to avoid patterns when your healing potion is on cooldown. Another thing you have to do is to make a position of octagon. The one who starts from 1 o'clock direction is given number 1, and others are given +1 by 1 in order of clockwise. I recommend classes who has better stagger to be in the front. This is for clearing the major gimmick in the first stage that I will explain you later. Memorize your position and number. Now let's go over to the patterns. The boss in the first stage has 50 health bar. Uppercut pattern. The boss uppercuts front, which knocks you down and slashes back. Vanish and swing. The boss vanishes and stabs immediately and swings when it appears. The swing knocks you down. Transition. At the 45 health bar, the boss goes to the center and tries to split itself as two, red one and blue one. The damage you can deal will decrease for this short moment, so just stay aside. When it finishes splitting, you will have to face with the red boss until you meet 30 health bar. And every attack that this red boss do will give you bleeding debuff, which can stack up and last for 30 seconds. That really hurts you constantly. This is the reason why I recommended Panacea and Sacred Charm to remove the debuff. Also, when combating red boss from any attacks, if one player gets hit for several times or multiple players get hit at the same time, AoE slash strikes that area for that much amount, which can literally kill your team. So you should avoid attacks even if you're something like a gun lancer. Rush pattern. The boss rushes 1 to 3 times in a row, which knocks you down. AoE slash pattern. The boss roars with wide range of slashes and dashes backward with another slash attack that starts splitting from the boss to both sides. Jump pattern. The boss jumps in and swings around that makes explosion afterward on the outer side. After dodging the swing, you have to come inside to avoid the explosion. Bombarding pattern. The boss curses itself with glow and starts to bombard the area where players are at. This pattern also knocks you down. Clone pattern. At the health bar around 37, blue boss also comes in for battle, and there will be two kinds of target mark above the two players, one with red and one with blue. Red boss will chase the player with red target mark, and blue boss will chase the player with blue target mark. The player who has the red one usually stick to top side, and the one with blue one usually stick to bottom side. The reason doing this is because it's really hard to combat with both of these mad creatures at the same time, so the idea here is to split them, and for the rest of 6 players who doesn't have the target mark above, they can deal damage just to either one. For example, if you're the one without the target mark, either one of these bosses will be invincible from your damage, which means the other one is the one you should deal damage. Being decided which color boss to hit is RNG, so you should figure out by hitting it, checking if you can deal damage or not. If you deal enough damage to the blue boss, it will vanish and gimmick will be cleared. Whirlwind pattern. The boss creates surrounding of whirlwind and it starts to whirl toward one player. You have to move away from the boss in the surrounding, or you can use spacebar to get out of the surrounding as well. If you get hit by the boss, you will literally get grinded, which will almost instantly kill you. Fury Swipe. The boss roars and slashes madly on the front. This attack does lots of damage. Darkness and Incarceration. Between the health bar of 35 and 30, if your party lacks of DPS, you get the Darkness debuff, and after a few seconds, some players will be incarcerated. Those who aren't must help them free because the boss dashes to where people are incarcerated, grabbing everyone in the way, which easily kills them. If your party have high DPS, you won't see this pattern. Grab the orb and stagger, the major gimmick. At health bar of 30, all the players have to position in the place which they decided before entering the raid. And starting from number 1, players must grab the orb in sequence and stagger the boss. This is why classes who has high stagger should be in front numbers. If you fail either grabbing the orb in sequence or the stagger, that's the raid wipe. Make sure to keep your eyes on the player whose number is in front of you, whether he grabs it or not. When you succeed the stagger, the red boss vanishes and blue boss comes in for transition. You will have to fight the blue boss until the health bar around 17. The raid leader can use Thigh Rain, which can deal lots of damage on the boss. If you want to use Thigh Rain, I recommend you to use it right after the blue boss appears, because it just do auto attacks for a few seconds, which is a guarantee hit. From now on, until the end of the raid, the boss periodically charges for the strong AoE attack, and when the boss swings its both arm, that's when AoE attack is released. Every one of you must dodge quickly to the end of the map against the direction of the boss. There are 3 kinds of this attack, and you can figure out when and which one it's gonna use by watching its arm. If there's nothing on its arm, it means it's yet to be charged. If it's green, it will strike area with attack that explodes very fast. This will kill you if you get hit by stacks of explosion. If it's blue, it will strike area with attack that freezes players. If it's red, it will strike area with attack that explodes after a few seconds. This one is much stronger than the green one, but it's easier to dodge. Failing to dodge will likely kill you. Swing and explode. The boss swings its arm and the outer side explodes. Dodge the swing and come into the safe area. Triple swipe. The boss swipes 3 times at the front. Dash and bombardment. The boss dashes, bombarding near area. Second clone. Around the health bar of 23-24, the blue boss calls the red boss in the combat. The way to get through this situation is same as the first clone gimmick. Combat in a separate position as possible. Second stagger gimmick. Around the health bar of 17, the second stagger gimmick starts. It's same as the first one. Get yourself positioned correctly and grab the orbs in order. The raid leader can use Wei on the second stagger to clear the gimmick safely instead of using Thigh Rain. After you succeed the second stagger, the boss starts to fire missiles all around, so make sure to be at the edge of the map. and dodge the remainings by slowly approaching toward the boss. After succeeding the second stagger, the boss combines back to the purple boss, which is the last phase you have to go through against the remaining health bar. Rush and grab. The boss rushes forward and grabs all the players on the way. When you get grabbed here, you almost get instantly killed because it scratches afterward for a count of how many players were grabbed. Gravity field. The boss generates gravity field that slows the players inside the field. Fear and stagger. A random player falls into fear, and the boss teleports to the player in fear to instantly kill him. If other players succeed in stagger, the gimmick is resolved. If not, it will almost annihilate your party. Well guys, that's all for Valtan Stage 1. Thanks for watching, and please hit the subscribe button, which will really help me a lot. Then, until next time boys, stay Giga Chad.